years, sometimes in the third or fourth quarter, UVI has updated their flagship superstar synth, Falcon.
Superstar!
Last year on October 6th, Falcon 2.8 was released with a host of updates, including some incredible new effects and arpeggiators. That was 9 months ago. So has UVI been tweaking the world's top-shelf synth behind the scenes?
What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening.
Will 2023 bring about a brand new version? Past history suggests yes, but the internet has been very quiet with pretty much zero speculation buzz. This isn't surprising as many VST software companies keep these things pretty tight-lipped.
And he's as tight-lipped about it as an Aldebaran shellmouth.
I'm pretty excited to see this next release because this really could be the year for UVI if they crash the gates with some stellar new features. That's because competition from the other big synth manufacturers has been, well, less than stellar. Let's start with Native Instruments.
I think that the problem may have been that there was a Stonehenge monument on the stage that was in danger of being crushed.
The recent release of Complete 14 and Contact 7 last year was a bit underwhelming. A basic refresh of previously included instruments and a couple of new features was not enough to make me want to update to the new version, even at deeply discounted prices. NI has done a good job of buying up or partnering with other companies, but since I already own products from Isotope and Unfiltered Audio, this didn't do anything to set them apart for me personally. Spectrasonics has also been a bit of a disappointment. Omnisphere has been looking and feeling long in the tooth for a number of years now. It's one of the oldest synths out there that has not jumped a full version number, and while it sounds great, I don't find myself using it often because other more modern synths have a better UI and are easier and quicker to program. I might purchase one of the very cool-looking expansions that came out recently, as they sound excellent. But if Omnisphere is starting to become a back-of-the-closet synth for me, should I really drop money on expansions when I have no idea when Omni 3 will be released? At nearly $500, I've thought about selling my license, but I'm currently taking a wait-and-see approach. Of course, any update will include new patches showcasing the major new features. With version 2.8, the patch base grew to around 1,500. And while this beats out the likes of Avenger with 930 presets and matches Heat Up 3, it's shy of the 3,700 presets in Cubase's Halion and the supposed 14,000 sounds in Omnisphere. If the past is any indicator, we will probably see a modest bump in patch numbers. I'm hoping for another 500, but a jump to 2,500 would be cool. One aspect that I would really like to see updated is the favorites system. Falcon has a 1-star system for favoring patches. This is okay, but it's outdated and doesn't do enough to help users sort through sounds quickly. A number of competitors have a 3 or 5-star system, and some of these are very complex. Omnisphere probably has the most comprehensive, with all kinds of tags and a large notes section. While this is great for cataloging things, it's also very time-consuming when customizing patches. It takes an extra several minutes to fill out completely, and can turn into a time sink when you are making a ton of new sounds. I would like to see something more advanced, but maybe not overly complicated. A 3-star system with some basic tags and commenting would be ideal from my perspective. One thing that would set Falcon apart is if they added color coding to their patches. This could be set up a number of ways, but having something like a red to blue system for distinguishing between warm and cold sounds would be incredibly useful. Another option would be something like a yellow to green coding system, with yellow indicating percussive sounds with short attacks and decays, and green being pad sounds with long build-up and ramp-down times. Just those two things alone would be huge. There are a large number of VSTs on the market, each with thousands of patches, making it extremely time-consuming to sift through patches when looking for a specific sound. Having a few colored dots next to a patch to sort by would be a standout feature on any VST. If Falcon were to borrow ideas from other synths, there are 2 features in particular that I would like to see. The first is having a dedicated particle engine. This would be a game changer as currently Contact seems to be the only synth that offers this. If anyone knows of another VST that can do this sort of thing, let me know in the comments because I'm a huge fan of this effect. Piano Colors is probably my favorite particle engine VST. It does an excellent job of maximizing this capability and makes this instrument a must-buy if you really want to explore what a particle engine can do. The ability to adjust key parameters like density and variation, along with source blending and a slew of different techniques, let you mold and sculpt sounds so that you can go from sparse echoes to dense repeats into bloom and shimmer reverb territory. Other particle engine VSTs like Noir, Echo Rain, and the various waves and hammer pianos all take slightly different approaches with this effect. So what if UVI included this feature? Well, couple this with Falcon's nearly unlimited modulation capabilities and huge array of effects, and you would be able to produce some really mind-blowing sounds. Think about being able to modulate or randomize between the amount of particles or the keyboard zones, for instance. Out of all the wish list items I've included today, this is the one I would want to see implemented the most. Another Kontakt VST that Falcon could borrow from is Echo Rain. The convolution reverb in Falcon is good, and it has a lot of impulses, but these are mainly different rooms, churches, halls, and reverb effects unit from different time periods. If I'm looking to add reverb though, 9 times out of 10, I head right to SparkVerb because it's so powerful and very easy to use. So how is Echo Rain's reverb different, and why is it such a great feature? It has to do with the impulses. Echo Rain firstly has a ton of impulses, and secondly, a majority of these are not based on a physical space. Instead, they are impulses based on blooms and shimmers and mangled glitchy sounds. Add this to the Echoes engine, and you get a VST that is a ton of fun to use. Fog Convolver 2 is a third-party convolution reverb that does some similar things, and also has a lot of unusual and organic impulses. It also has a built-in impulse generator, great controls, and allows you to mix 2 different impulses. Do I want this in Falcon? Absolutely. If UVI added a similarly spec'd effect, I would be using it just as much as I use their amazing SparkVerb. Old-fashioned sound is the new fad sweeping the nation. Tape simulators are now a dime a dozen, and adding imperfections to a clean mix is now the name of the game. With version 2.8, Falcon added a tape simulator effect and the texture engine, which are both awesome, but now it's time to up the ante. AudioThing has a number of great noise-inducing plugins, made by this guy, and Tapes 0.01 has really perfected the art of imperfection. The number of noise samples in tapes just seems to go on forever, and they are super easy to add and control. If we are talking found sounds, Lufterm has cornered that market with Bioscape. It contains dozens of excellent forest, city, water, and other sounds that can be added into the mix. In Falcon, I'd like to see an overhaul of the noise engine, because it's pretty basic. Adding new tools similar to what was done with the texture engine to include easy-to-use filters, panning, and pitching, or coloration would be cool. Having 2 noise sources that you can mix would be a nice improvement that speeds up production. For the texture engine, I wouldn't change much. Just triple the sound base, and I'd be really happy with that. I have several loopers. I have a microcosm, a mood, and a couple of VSTs as well. They are a lot of fun to use, and it would be huge if one was integrated into Falcon. Being able to switch to weirdly glitchy clock timings similar to the mood, or add stability issues like the blooper, would be a game changer, as no other top-shelf VST on the market has these features, at least that I'm aware of. Finally, Kontakt has the XY pad, and a number of instruments use it. Lunacy Audio introduced the Cube, which is pretty cool and easy to use. SoundPate and Arturia's Polybrute have the Morph feature. Falcon could add scripts to do something similar to each of these. This would be great, but instead, I would offer the following. The Linear Array. Falcon already gives you a ton of tools to morph between sounds, so adding something like an XY pad is just a simpler way to achieve the same end and reduce some programming time. The idea of the linear array goes much deeper though. It starts with a snapshot. Set up an initial sound, with any number of engines, effects, modulators, and filters. Each of these will have specific settings that get stored into the snapshot. Now adjust the settings, like turning an engine off, or lowering the volume, or adding reverb to the mix. Take another snapshot. Change it again. Maybe add some hard pans and heavy low-pass filtering into the next snapshot. Add all these snapshots to the linear array and add curves. Will the transition be sharp or smooth and long? Other VSTs just morph between layers, but this would allow you to morph between, say, 4 or 10 different snapshots. It would be similar to Dawson's Abyss, but instead of being limited by a set of sounds, you would pretty much have an unlimited sound set. And you would be morphing effects and modulation as you move through the array. That would be pretty powerful. So, if you're a big fan of UVI instruments, be sure to comment below and add your wish list items. I know UVI watches my channel from time to time, especially because I post on their instruments quite a bit. Falcon is also really huge. There are a ton of features, a lot that I don't even use. So maybe some of you might know features or workarounds that can get you close to some of the things I've suggested. Hit me up with some comments if you think so. That's it for today. If you like this video and you don't own Falcon, check out my take on version 2.0, because it just may whet your appetite. Go make some great music, and we will see you on the other side of the mountain.